Hey guys, it's Zach from the Con channel, and in this video I'm going to give you a full guide on how to complete the Shattered Veil Easter egg. Now before we start with the quest steps, I just want to give you guys loadout recommendations to make this Easter egg as easy as possible. First off, you want to use any AR. Obviously if it's max upgrade you can add all the necessary attachments, and then for your field upgrade you want Ether Shroud. For your lethal you want a combat axe, as this is going to be needed for one of the Easter egg steps. And then for your gobblegums, it doesn't really matter what gobblegums you use, but if you do want to use your gobblegums, I recommend Power Keg, as one of the steps will require you to use Ether Shroud multiple times. I also recommend using Perkaholic, so that if you do go down in the boss fight, you'll be able to get all your perks back instantly. The rest you can obviously decide on what you want to use, but those are two that I recommend using, especially if you are a solo. Now the first part of this Easter egg is to get to the Pack-a-Punch. Now I'm going to show you the easiest and most efficient way to get there without wasting any time, so you can just follow me. Now you're going to need about 7,000 points in order to open all the doors required to get to the Pack-a-Punch, but you'll just need to head to round 5 in order to do that, so it's not too difficult. You can only start the Easter egg at round 10 anyways, as you'll need the free ray gun that you can get, but we'll get to that in just a sec. Once you get to this area with the armor plate, you're going to actually go up these stairs instead of through the door, and you'll see that to the left is going to be a zombie on the ground that you'll need to defeat. He'll then drop you the fuse that is needed for the elevator, and now we're just going to pass through the doors, and instead of turning left where the objective is, we're actually just going to go straight. This is because the other part we need for the elevator is going to be here. So the way that I've done it is so that we don't have to run back and forth between the different locations. We can just go get the items and then immediately just go to the elevator one time instead of 2 times. So once you get to the elevator, you're going to go behind it, and then you're going to repair it, and then you're going to flick the elevator button. Now once you do so, a bunch of zombies are going to pop out from it, and then you can go ahead and kill those zombies. And then once the zombies are killed, you're going to click the elevator again, and this time it'll open up so that you'll actually be able to go down. Now you can just head towards the elevator, use the zip line and head down. And then you can just follow the objective markers, which is pretty simple, and then it's going to take you to the Pack-a-Punch machine. And now the next step of the Easter egg is to get the free raygun Mark II. You'll then need to get to round 10 and come back to the Pack-a-Punch room, and a zombie with purple eyes called the lab technician should spawn, and once you kill him, he'll drop you a floppy disk. You're then going to take that floppy disk into the East Foyer, so you can come from the Grand Foyer where the T-Rex is and then follow my path. You're then going to interact with the computer till the monitor goes red and vermin will start to spawn in. You'll then need to kill them, and once done you can return back to the document and you can read it by using the interaction button on the printer. You'll then read the document and you'll need to look for the 4-letter word, which is in all caps, and mine was moth. Once you have your 4-letter word, you can then go to the PhD flopper room and you can follow my path to get there. Once you get to the PhD flopper room, you're then going to see this chalkboard to the right of it, and now you'll need to identify your 4-digit code from the chalkboard. What you need to do is count the letters that are grouped together. So for example, AIOUY is going to be 5, QX is going to be 2, BCDEFGH is going to be 7, S is going to be 1, LMNP, RTVW is going to be 8, and JKZ is 3. So my code will then be 8587. Once you have your 4-digit code, you can head back down to the Pack-a-Punch room, and you're going to head through the back door until you get to the Doppelgas containment. To the right is going to be a keypad, and you can input your code there, releasing the Doppelgas. Once you kill that Doppelgas, you'll then pick up a severed arm. You're then going to take that severed arm to the armory room, which is right next to the portal. And once you head inside, you're going to place the severed arm onto the fingerprint scanner to the right, and then you'll get your free raygun Mark II. Now after acquiring the free raygun Mark II, you'll now need to get all 3 versions of the raygun Mark II in order to progress to the next quest step. I'm first going to show you how to get the raygun Mark II W, which is the blue version of the raygun. The first thing that you need to do is destroy 4 blue crystals around the map, and you'll have a chance to get the canister you need from any one of them. There's one in the lower terrace by Quick Revive, there's one in the East Foyer on the roof, the next one is outside of the PhD flopper room, and the last one is at the end of the service tunnel underground. Once you've collected the canister, take it to the Speed Cola area and deposit it into the machine. Once you do so, an abomination will spawn and you must not kill it. What you need to do is make the abomination shoot these 3 small rocks to make them glow blue. After they glow blue, you need to make the abomination ram into each one of them to make them float. Once all three are floating, a portal will spawn in the middle of the area and you need to protect it from the vermin that spawn. Once you've done so, you can return to the canister and take that canister to the portal room where the ray gun workbench is and upgrade your ray gun to get the ray gun Mark II-W. And now I'm going to show you how to get the ray gun Mark II-R, which is the green or yellow version of the ray gun Mark II. Now the first thing that you can do is get the free Casimir grenade from the zombie in the service tunnel. Once you have that nade, you'll take it to the double tap area and throw it next to this window to get the canister. It'll then suck in the canister for you to collect. Then you want to locate and find 4 plants around the map to collect their seeds. Now the way that you collect their seeds is by using explosives, molotovs, the ray gun or the napalm ammo mod to destroy them properly. Now here are some of the locations that I've found these plants, but if any of you guys have more locations, you can put it down in the comments below. Once you have collected 4 seeds, you need to take them and the canister to the conservatory. You'll then place the canister into the machine and then your seeds into the incubators that are located around this area. You'll then have to protect your seeds from specifically the purple-eyed zombies, as those are the ones that are going to be targeting your incubators. You'll know when you're done defending the incubator once the plant has fully regrown. Now just keep in mind there are 4 incubators, but if you're doing this as a solo, I recommend doing 1 incubator at a time. And if you do fail, you have to go to the next round in order to redo it again. And once you're done defending, you can go and collect the canister and take it to the spawn ray gun workbench to get your ray gun Mark II-R. And I'm going to show you the last version of the ray gun, which is the ray gun Mark II-P, which is the purple version of the ray gun. The first thing that you want to do is go to the pack-a-punch room and check whether the sign on the wall next to the crafting table says A or B. You'll then need to get 2 tomahawks, which you can either add them to your loadout if you're starting a new game, craft them from the crafting table, or pick one up from spawn. You then want to go to the pack-a-punch room and follow the path I take to get to the gas valves. Once you're here, you need to throw your tomahawk and break the first valve that links the 2 pipes, and then break the valve that match with the sign on your wall. You then want to come back to the sign by the crafting table, and then you want to use any explosive in order to destroy the gas chamber. Once broken, the upgrade canister should pop out. You'll then need to grab 2 mirrors that can be found in fountains around the map, and there's one by Quick Revive and the other one is outside the PhD flopper room. To collect them, just interact with the fountain and it should say reflector once you've successfully picked it up. Once you've collected the mirrors, you want to start breaking these white boxes around the map until you get an essence bomb. Take the essence bomb to the end of the service tunnel where you'll need to blow up this wall. Then place your canister into the machine in the area, and then you'll need to place your mirrors on these stands in the area and try and get the beam of light to shine onto a doppelganger statue. Once the doppelganger is beamed, you'll then need to melee the crystal that is lighting that beam. It'll then bring the doppelganger to life and you'll have to kill it. If the beam of light is not shining onto the doppelganger statue, you either need to melee the mirror to change its direction or remove the mirror and place it in a new spot until the beam of light hits a statue. You'll have to do this 3 times in total, but once you've completed the step, you can then pick up the upgrade canister and take it to Richtofen's room where you can upgrade your ray gun to the ray gun Mark II-P. Now after acquiring all 3 versions of the ray gun Mark II, you'll now need to do the ritual for each individual ray gun Mark II version as well for the next step. So the first trial that I'm going to show you is the Cult Leaders trial. In order to do this one, you need to get the ray gun Mark II-P, which is the purple version of the ray gun Mark II. Once you have the purple version of the ray gun, head to the elevator shaft, and to the left you should see a painting next to a computer. Interact with the computer and kill the zombies that spawn with the ray gun Mark II-P to open up the secret painting door. Once you're inside, collect the ritual elixir that is on the right side of the dining table. You'll then have to fill 3 chalices around the map by interacting with them. One can be found in the spawn area over here. The next chalice can be found to the right of the bar at the top of the grand foyer. The last one spawns in the pottery on this table. Each chalice you fill will spawn a disciple and you will have to kill it. Once you've filled all 3 chalices, head to the elevator again, and behind the elevator will be 3 numbers you'll need to remember. They will be in order from left to right, and once you have memorized them, head to the death perception perk and interact with the safe that is to the right and input the numbers you had. Once you open up the safe, it'll give you the antler carving, and you'll need to take that antler carving into the portal room you had previously opened and place it on the ritual stand. It will then start a ritual event where it will spawn in another disciple, and you'll then have to survive the disciple trial. Now, the disciple will spawn in with a shield, and in order to break the shield, you'll need to use the ray gun, and once broken, you can use any weapon after that. Once the ritual is complete, pick up the item off the ritual table, and that will be that trial completed. Now the next trial is going to be the Rich Man trial, and you'll need the ray gun Mark II-R, which is the green version of the ray gun Mark II. Once you have it, go to the library and interact with the painting's computer. Then get kills with the ray gun Mark II to reveal the secret door. You can then head through and interact with the ghost. Now there's going to be 3 invisible items that you need to pick up once you're in Ether Shroud. It's going to be the ledger, the audio log, and the nuclear report. Each of them have 2 locations, and I'm going to show you those right now. So for the audio log, the first one can be found here by this computer next to the bar, and then its second location is going to be right by this painting, and it's going to be on top of this couch. Now for the ledger, the first spot it can spawn in is going to be right over here next to this couch. And then the second spot it can spawn in is right next to Elemental Pop, and it is going to be into this second door, and it's going to be right here on this table. Now the first location for the nuclear badge is going to be where the T-Rex is, and it's going to be at this fireplace right over here. Now the second location for the nuclear badge is going to be where Double Tap is by the elevator, and it is going to be in this fireplace right over here. Now I got really lucky as I only had to use 1 Ether Shroud to get all 3 of the invisible items. As we get closer to the items, even though we are out of Ether Shroud, we were close enough for it to activate and still show visibly in the actual game, so I was able to do it quickly and efficiently. Once you have all 3 books, return to the painting room and you'll see these 3 glowing books on the bookshelf. You want to interact with the books in the normal world in a specific order to reveal another secret door. Once that secret door opens up, pick up the nuclear inspection report and then head back into the portal room and place the artifact on the ritual stand to begin the ritual. You'll then have to survive an amalgam trial, and then the amalgam, same as previously, will spawn in with a shield, and you'll then need to use the ray gun to break it and use any weapon you want after that. Once finished, pick up the artifact, and then that will be that trial completed. Now the last trial is going to be the Fats Malloy trial. In order to complete this one, you'll need the ray gun Mark II W, which is the blue version of the ray gun Mark II. Once you have the ray gun variant, head to the Pack Punch elevator room, and to the right of the entrance, collect these scones from this box. Take the scones to the jug room and place it on the missing lamp to the right of the wall. You're then going to play Simon Says with the 2 lights. Now in order to play Simon Says, all you need to do is just interact with the light that glows, and then if you just watch the lights, it'll start shining the lights in a specific order, and you'll just have to repeat what it shows. And once complete, the wall will open up. Interact with the computer in the room and kill zombies with the ray gun Mark II W to open up the portal room. Interact with the ghost and he'll then tell you to get his flask. To get his flask, you need to find the service bell, which can be found in the study in the glass shelves. Now I found mine next to the computer at the bottom glass shelf, but you can find it in other glass shelves in the study area. Take the bell to the bar on the 2nd floor and place it on the bar table. You'll then need to brain rot a zombie. Once the zombie has turned, interact with the bell to ring it, and the zombie will jump over the counter, have a drink, and drop the flask on the bar table. Return to the portal room to give Fats his flask, and once he disappears, place the artifact onto the ritual stand, and then you'll have to survive a Mangler trial. Once again, break the Mangler shield with the ray gun, and then use whatever weapon you want. And once that is done, you can then pick up the artifact, and that will be all 3 trials completed for each of the ray gun variations. Now after completing the rituals for the ray gun Mark II, you'll then be able to enter into the final boss fight of the Easter egg. But before we do that, I just want to give you guys a few tips on what to do to make this boss fight as easy as possible. Firstly, I recommend getting the Wunderwaffe, and there's a way that you can get a free one, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. The reason for this is that the Wunderwaffe is super clutch in the boss fight with crowd control, as there is quite a bit of zombies that chase you, especially if you are solo. Now in order to get the free Wunderwaffe, you only actually have to complete 1 of the 3 rituals for obviously the respective ray gun Mark II version you're using. But since you've completed 3, it doesn't matter which one you use. Once you've completed the trial for the respective ray gun version you're using, you need to then make your way to the nursery room next to PhD. Once you get there, beneath this bed is going to be clothing you must shoot with the ray gun Mark II. It'll then emit a purple cloud that disappears. You'll then need to head over to Elemental Pop and shoot the purple glowing book on this chair. It'll start moving around while spawning objects in its cloud, and you need to shoot them until they disappear, and then you need to damage the book that appears from the purple cloud. You'll have to keep repeating this process until the cloud disappears and moves to the next location, and you'll know you've done it successfully when the purple cloud kind of moves slowly away and disappears. If you do fail the step by not doing enough damage in the specific amount of time, you will then have to just go into the next round and try again. Now the next location is going to be in spawn, and you'll have to repeat the exact same process as before with the book. Once you have completed that step, you'll now have to do it for the 3rd and final time, and this location is going to be to the left of Juggernog right here, and you'll have to do the same process as the last 2 objects. Once you're done with the third object, you'll then need to head down to the elevator by Pack-a-Punch, and in the elevator at the bottom, if you look up, you'll see a floating purple cloud. Now all you have to do is literally just shoot the cloud with your gun or the ray gun, it doesn't matter, and you'll see that once you shoot it correctly, you'll then get a free Wunderwaffe. Now after getting your free Wunderwaffe, I recommend at least Pack-a-Punching it to level 2, and then for your prime weapon, I recommend using any of the Raygun Mark II versions. Personally, I think the Raygun Mark II W is the best one as it has range, it's rapid fire, and it does a decent amount of damage. And also, if you can, I recommend Pack-a-Punching it to Pack-a-Punch level 3, depending on what round you are, but Pack-a-Punch level 2 is also fine at about round 20-ish. Now, once you're ready to head into the boss fight, all you need to do is go down to the Pack-a-Punch room and give Sam the Sentinel artifact, and then it'll take you straight into the boss fight after a cutscene. Now my next recommendation is to have all the perks you can possibly have besides melee macchiato, as you're not going to be meleeing enemies inside the boss fight, so that can save you a bit of points. I also recommend using a chopper gunner or getting a chopper gunner before the boss fight, so that in the final phase of the boss fight you can use the chopper gunner to pretty much finish off the boss. I also recommend using Ether Shroud, as this is super helpful for getting out of sticky situations when the boss pins you or when you are being pinned by zombies, so you can get a break and escape from them. Then my next recommendation is that while you are in the boss fight, the boss will have 3 weak spots: its mouth when it opens it to shoot out its venom or whatever, its eyes, and then its stomach or rib cage. You'll see that if you shoot the rib cage with your ray gun, you'll actually do max damage of 24,000 damage to the ribs. Another tip that I have for you in the boss fight: if the boss charges you in its third or second phase, when it starts to do that, you'll then have to run in the opposite direction of when it charges you. So for example, if it charges you from the back, you then need to turn around and run towards where the T-Rex is essentially coming from. This is so that you don't get stuck in a loop of constantly being knocked forward, as this does quite a bit of damage. If you do go down in the boss fight, you'll actually be able to get a free self-revive from Richtofen on top of the mountain. All you need to do after you go down is to go back towards him and he'll throw self-revive kit on the ground. Another tip that I also have is that if you do go down, you'll get 150 bullets in your ray gun to deal damage to enemies and the T-Rex. So this can be super helpful for if you need to get a bit of damage off on the boss before you raise yourself. But yeah guys, that is how you pretty much complete the Shattered Veil Easter egg. It's been Zach from the Con channel. I hope this video helps you out, and thanks for watching.